Pleasant good night to each and every one of you from Guyana, in and out of Guyana, fellow citizen. Tonight I take this great opportunity to address you on behalf of what is taking place in Georgetown, Guyana, between the two major races, East Indian descendant and African descendant. I want you all to first stop and think and listen carefully. Let's leave India and Africa behind hundreds of years ago. You, the East Indian, know the days when you arrive into Guyana as a hire laborer, as we call colleague. You, the blacks, also might understand and maybe get to understand the time when your ancestors leave the shore of West Africa and many other African nations across the Pacific and Atlantic without your free will. It so happened, unfortunately, both of you major races have played a divisive role in the Caribbean, Central America, South America, not forgetting Brazil with the largest population of African descendants. But what amazed me in Georgetown, Guyana, Trinidad, and Jamaica, especially the three I mentioned, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Guyana, great-grandchildren of East Indian descendant and African descendant. I call upon you to stop your nonsense between each other. Both of you are treating each other like if you all are enemy. You all are not enemy to one another. You all are enemy to yourself and to the future of your generation to come. Let me make it clear. Any country with a religious problem, Muslim versus Hindu, Hindu and Muslim versus Christian, will be a nation, no matter what resources you have, cannot go forward. You will always be plagued with ignorance, force, and brutality. And that is what I call stupidity, because you are not coming to understand that all of you shall live together, unite and develop the country from which you all are in today. I do not want to hear about my ancestor link, whether they're from China, they're from Israel, they're from Egypt. That was them. We are talking now where we are from. It is good to know where our ancestor came from, but are we prepared to go back there? Think of it. Some night I will do an article and a statement upon the European, as some of you call white people, which I don't believe in. I believe in European. I don't use color of skin because I've never seen a black man or a white man or a brown man or a yellow man, but we use it because it is for straight talk. But when it comes down to the Pacific, we are all human beings living under the blue sky. And I'm calling upon you, any country that have a political situation where religion plays the aspect and the role of a future of that nation cannot go far. There will be wars, rumors of wars, killing wastefully over a religion that none of you know the truth. And if it is about race, where blacks versus Indian and Indian versus black, same nonsense will happen. So I want you to stop and think. I don't listen to what you call historian who write the book, write the history book, to tell you about your ancestor, because a lot of them are a pack of liars and drunkards and whoremongers. And therefore, I want you all to wake up to understand, especially in Guyana, we get rid of white colonial master, as you call them, to replace them with Indian and blacks, descendant and great-grandchildren of slavery and cheap labor. For 50-something years, where did it put us? Did it profit the country? Did we go forward? Or we are going backward and deeper in racism? When the black man ruled Guyana, it was like Africa. When the Indian ruled it, I think I'm living in India also. When will the two of you stop your bloody nonsense and understand that Guyana is not your country originally? Since you can identify your ancestor came from India, you know the arrival day, but you do not know your days of departure. You, the black man, also know the day of slavery, and you know when you was emancipated. Now you have your freedom, but you don't want to go. The country called Guyana belonged to Arawak Indian. They are still there. You tell me about what is honesty, what is justice, but you are denying a nation the justice. You said the European, who's the white man, enslaved you and bring you out of Africa and exploit you. What the hell are you doing to the Arawak Indian in Guyana, as we call Amerindian Arab people? Think of it. But yet, we make laws for if a man thief, you put him to jail. You also got in the law book that he who receive stolen property is guilty of the crime more than the man who commit the crime. You said a receiver. So I want to ask my lawmakers, are all of you prepared to be arrested and charged for receiving stolen property that don't belong to you? Come on. This is the 21st century, man. We, the black people in Guyana, liberate Africa from Guyana, Jamaica, and the Caribbean. We support our black brothers and sisters for the liberation from European ancestors. Mugabe even drove them out of his country. And we have seen many other countries. Nelson Mandela will go down in history. When the black man in South Africa had ready to annihilate the white race, when Mr. Mandela came out of jail after 27 years, he warned the black man. He said, they are also Africano. They didn't do you nothing. Throw the guns and the spear in the river. That will be a speech must live with every human being who wants peace. You cannot live alone being a black man and an Indian man, a Chinese man, or a white man if that's how you want it to be. And therefore, the Guyana law book should change. It also not says lock up a man for thieving or stealing. Because you, the people, receive a country do not belong to you. You came without your free will and you were slave, as you said. And yes, you might be right. You become doctors and lawyers and politicians, and you're doing worse than the European has done to you. You're enslaving the native Indian who's Amerindian for a country that is not yours. And you being the black man talking about justice. And you, the Indian, you divide India because of religion. Hindu versus Muslim, then you have Pakistan. I want to know if you Indian actually don't have understanding. So you divide India from Pakistan, Pakistan from India, you all don't understand. You have Pakistan, Afghanistan, who do stand and all this time, but yet you Koli people don't understand. Wake to hell up. If you all don't want Guyana before you drain it and lock it up Amerindian and the mixed race, and causing your nation to be annihilated in time to come, I urge you through the name of God, unite and put Guyana forward. Guyana does not belong to black people, Indian people, Portuguese people, Chinese people. It belongs to Arawak Indian. And the second after them is the Douglas race, which means the mixed up people. Because you black people identify Africa where you came from. You Indian know the arrival day when you came from India. Why the Chinese and Portuguese don't talk about their day of arrival in the West or in these countries? Portuguese was also a slave. Chinese was also a slave. My fellow citizen, I call upon you to stop listening to history and look to the future. If this is what you want for your grandchildren, then you are digging a hole so deep, you're worse than your ancestor who didn't know to